From the College of Health, thanks for being here today. It is June 27, 2025. I have a couple of days of Akashic weather that I want to read. The first day is June 22nd, and I saw like these minion fairies, and I was led to a script, and the word Armenia comes up a lot, and apparently it was this place during the Byzantine era. It was like this population of Arabs that had broken off from the other Arab nations, apparently, related to Iberia. Don't really know a lot about it. What's really interesting for me is this Armenia has come up a few times. And one day I did my 23andMe and looked at my ancestry, and it was very much the way I thought it was based on what my mother's heritage is and my father's heritage. But one of the things that came through was like, I think it was like 1% Iberia that I was, which is interesting because Armenia is related some way to Iberia. So anyway, that's my possible Akashic record connection. But um, this was around the time when there was like a lot happening in the news with Iran. So I probably was asking about Iran, and they, in the Akash, they were sending out a message to Arab nations. Something written in the record since the beginning of time. So then I saw a circle, grassland, Falkland Islands, like a ticker tape with information. So I saw like this, almost like this Aramaic writing, but it was coming through like a ticker tape, almost like the stock on the Dow would go by, the Dow Jones. And when I saw this, there was all these noises that started to happen in my neighborhood. Like a car alarm went off, and then a dog started barking. And then shortly after, this bird was walking on my screened-in patio roof. I could see it because I have like a skylight there. So it was just kind of interesting. All these noises started happening when I was seeing this ticker tape with this Aramaic writing. Then I was told, dear child, there isn't much time left to ponder what to do next. Just do it. Follow the steps of your heart. It will always guide you. Your head is for making decisions and contemplation, but your heart is for action and movement, which I thought was really interesting. The head is really to think about things, but the heart is more about um, execution of what you want to do. I see an earth rift and a heart splitting in two. Follow your heart without delay. And then I heard the bird. And let's see what else. I asked if I was on the right path. I was told yes. I'm assuming if you're listening to this, you're on your own right path. I asked God to speak to me again, and I felt like a knife in my heart. A country divided, I asked, and I was told, sort of. Is there anything I shouldn't do? And I was told, don't delay any longer. The time is now to make your next move. The next day, which was the 23rd of June, 2025, my son, and then death and resurrection. Almost like each of us would have to go through our own death and resurrection. And I was told few will make it, fortitude will be needed. You can't find what you're looking for in the weeds, leave them alone. Better travel necessary for what is next. Then I was asked, what is your soul calling for? Listen to the messages as they come in, as they surely will. They're coming in loudly. Um, you are only I said you're only confused if you choose to be. And again, I think these messages are for both of us, that the messages are coming in loudly, and that if we're confused, that's our choice. We're choosing to be confused. Um, I saw darkness opening to light, greater illumination. I saw Jesus talking to an ET group. They were had round heads and they were white. It was almost like they were R2D2. I have no idea how R2D2 looked. I have no recollection of Star Wars. I think I saw it once, if that. And there was some relationship with Trump. Maybe he's working with the ETs in some way. Better, greener pastures await for all. Continue to get your life in order. Just kind of skipping over some personal stuff here. Um, then I saw myself slipping down a sandhill, hot desert in the Middle East, and be prepared, ready yourself inside and out. I see a red road, a splitting of earth. Forces are upon all of you. Bring in only what you want. Let go of the rest. Count your blessing. Everything is elusive and transitory. Nothing will last on the third dimension. All eventually will fall away. Be prepared. Then the next day, or the 25th of June 25, 25. And I thought of Little Red Riding Hood. And then after I sang my prayers, I sing these Sanskrit prayers before I go into the Akashic Record. I open to this Bible passage, which interestingly is Matthew. And this is hearers and doers, Matthew 7:24. Everyone then who hears these words of mine and acts on them will be like a wise man who built his house on rock. The rain fell, the floods came, and the wind blew and beat on the house, but it did not fall because it had been founded on rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not act on them will be like a foolish man who built his house on sand, which is really interesting because I saw like the slipping down the sandhill in the Middle East. The rain fell and the floods came and the winds blew and beat upon the house and it fell and great was its fall. Now when Jesus had finished saying these things, the crowd were astounded at his teaching, for he taught them as one who had authority and not as their scribe. And I don't know about you, but I think of the Three Little Pigs, and the pig that built its house on brick was the house that stood. And that, I think the Three Little Pigs has come up recently in the Akash. And to me, what that means is right now we're to ready ourselves, literally our house. And I don't know about you, but I'm actually doing a lot of cleanup in my house right now. And it's almost like a proverbial house on on the outside, but also a proverbial house on the inside, like readying ourselves from a mind, body, spirit perspective on the inside. And then that's how we'll find safety. Be kind to others as you would like them to be kind to you. Apocalypse, stories told in the dark, fairy tales. I see a dark room gradually being filled with light. People saying, so I saw this like darkness, and then all of a sudden, like there was more and more and more light. And then as the room became illuminated, it was too blinding for people. And there were people in the room and they're like, stop, it's too blinding. And it was almost like the illumination of the matrix was too much for some people to handle. And then I thought of, I think it was Jack Nicholson who said, you can't handle the truth in one of the movies. And then I saw these ants turning into mega trucks. Patience will be rewarded. And then Ellipsi, Ilipsi, which I looked up, and it's a Greek island. Ram Ram. And I see myself, finding greener pastures. Let's just say that. And then these mega creatures were like four-wheelers and excavation, signing treaties, walk the red road. If you walk the red road, you cannot go wrong. I go up attic steps and watch the late show. Someone comes up behind me and scares me, but they don't feel bad, kind of like one of my siblings. Limerick fairy tale. And then I saw like a reptile egg, and a snake was in it. And I was told, confront your fears. And let's see, next page. Pick your fights wisely, focus on the correct priorities. I saw like a swimming hole. Pick and choose what you want to do and where you want to go. So much personal stuff here. Sorry, I'm just kind of jumping down. Self-awareness was needed for all of us. I saw Ganesha or an elephant, and that we would overcome obstacles. Don't toil with fools, step above the muck of the third dimension existence. Beowulf, star system, sister of love, go as far as you can with love. And then this was kind of weird. I had back then, a couple days ago, I had this sick headache, like a really bad headache. And sometimes I get this type of headache if I've had chocolate. Like chocolate doesn't always agree with me, but I hadn't had any chocolate and I didn't know why I was having this like almost like a dizzy headache. And when I went into the Akash, I was like taken up to the spaceship and I felt like my headache was being worked on. And then I was given like a remote control and I blew up the spaceship. And then Jesus kind of lowered me down to the earth and by like a cord, a divine cord. And the rules have changed. I said, have the rules changed? And they said, not yet, but they are changing. You don't need to be afraid anymore. You can let go of fear. I see all these cats, and I was wondering what the cats represented, almost like a sphinx type like thing, or I don't know. Like the cats represented like Sedmet, like the goddess Sedmet. And then today I went in. So that was what I just read to you was the 26th. Today, come hither, come far, you know who you are. I see Jesus, he hands me a scroll. I take it and I kind of bleed out into like a puddle. Do not get mired in the consequence of your behavior. All that is true will last. Follow the river. It will take you where you need to go. All things are and will continue full circle. A stitch in time saves nine. I got that as I took that as a message, not to hurry, to be patient, and to do a good job with things. I was in like the sea then, and it was wavy and salty. And then I was sailing, and the rudder was pulled up. Is the rudder the thing? The sail, the rudder, the sail? I don't know. Then I saw sewage in the water, and I could smell it. Cesspool of despair. I was still in the sailboat. I landed. I took like a platform off the boat, and then I got on another sea. Another sea awaits you. Take another boat. And then I took it to this blue sea, and it was almost like leave the past behind, leave any kind of like darkness or um, negativity behind, and get on another ocean of um, emotion, I guess. And then I was told like leave the hungry ghosts behind. And I said, "Is part of me a hungry ghost?" And they said, "Well, not exactly." Um, it was kind of like yes and no. And then I saw this ice cream from my childhood and thought of addictions in the past and saw like my shadow. And then I was like face to face with Jesus, and I represented the shadow and he represented the light. And it was kind of cool to have um, that contrast. You can't find happiness on the outside. True happiness has to start within. The rest is icing on the cake. So it was a really strong message. The only way you can find true happiness is inside. And if you find it like in situations outside of you or in a relationship, that definitely is icing on the cake, but it can never be where the true happiness comes from, which has to be an inner thing. Then I ended up merging with Jesus and I said, "What's next?" And it was that I needed to be a pioneer, a leader. I saw this mosaic of glass. All things eventually will fit together. Have faith in the process. Perfection, the four noble truths. I'll let you look up the Four Noble Truths yourself. Um, Actually, maybe I'll put them in the notes. Um, Share with your YouTube people, share all of it. It all wants to be shared. Um, okay. Clean up your papers. A stitch in time saves nine. So clean up all your mess, all your bureaucratic things that are holding you back, and take the other boat to the cleaner sea, I guess. So that's the Akashic Record. It's kind of nebulous, but I felt an urge to continue to share. So hope you enjoyed, and I'll put the Four Noble Truths meaning in the notes in case you're not familiar with, the Buddhist Noble Truths. Have a good day.